All right, welcome. Let's get right into it. Good evening. Hello. Welcome to Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace Darcy, everybody on Fireside, everybody on YouTube, and those of you listening to the replay on Spotify. Welcome. So grateful that you're here. Welcome to another fantastic week. We just celebrated or went through or experienced the full moon in Leo yesterday. I'm very excited to find out from you. How was that? How did you experience that? Let me go ahead and fix this light over here. Oh, and bring my microphone forward as well. Why don't we do that? Yeah, let's do that. So I apologize. Okay. So welcome. My name is Graciela Moore. So excited to be here with you all to contemplate all things productivity the week ahead. For those of you that it's your first time here and you've never tuned into a replay, I am not an astrologer. I just really love and I am very passionate about the moon. And so if you want to get your astrology for the week, I totally recommend The Ghost of a Podcast by Jessica Laniado or the Chani app by Chani Nicholas. She's also great. So if you want to tap into the astrology for the week, definitely do that. We're here to talk about the moon, where it is every day, how that may come up for us. And we also follow along the journey of the journal and the agenda that I created. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Hello, Adam. Thank you for joining us. So the full moon in Leo, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to that. Normally we would we would be painting and journaling live. This is what the book invites us to do, but we've been switching that up since we started the year. And so if you follow me on Instagram, then you may have noticed that we did this live together on Friday. So right here in the Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace 2023 manifestation agenda / journal, leave it to me to pick the longest title ever. You get the opportunity to journal and have some affirmations for every new moon and for every full moon. And then you get to journal and paint, which is what we've kind of shared in this exchange since last year. So for example, right here, this is one of the many paintings I have in the studio where I have journaled and painted over it, right? And so it's been a wonderful journey. I painted the green comet because this is the topic of conversation, or it was last week, and we're going to talk about it as well. And so the full moon in Leo, let's start with that because this happened yesterday. We're going to talk about the full moon, then we're going to talk about where the moon is every day this week, and then we're going to share about a productive week. And as always, we will finish the episode with a mindfulness meditation for you to just relax and unwind and transition into the rest of a very productive week. So yay, here we are. If you can, if you're willing and able, take a moment to share share this conversation with friends and family, you can do so on the bottom left corner, and you just click where it says broadcast to the world, and it's easy from there. So thank you, everybody. All right. So Leo wants the attention. Leo wants that roar. Leo is very proud, right? And so the full moon in Leo highlights all of these things. And if you are currently in a situation where you're not proud about the relationships you're fostering, you're not in a position to really feel that sense of encouragement about the things that you're doing, if you are not in a position to kind of feel that self-empowerment that I would definitely encourage everybody to achieve, right? Then the full moon, which sheds light on whatever, is going to shed light on those things. And so this weekend might have felt really empowering, right? And you might have felt that pride of, this is who I am, and I'm doing great, and self-empowerment in all its glory. Or you might have felt a little bit, well, what's the opposite of that, right? Is it shame? Is it discomfort? Is it, utter pressure about the things that you're doing or how you're doing them, or the job you have or the relationships that you have? Because the moon was full. It's not obviously 24 hours later, it's already not full, but the moon was full, shedding light on all of that. And so that might have been some of the things that you may have felt this last weekend. And so the journal invites you to ponder these questions. So I'm going to go ahead and ask them. And for those of you that join me every week, I'm pretty sure you already have either this journal or a notepad around. So if it's your first time, get a pen, and you're welcome to take note of these questions so that you can ponder them and journal on your own time. So because Leo is very concerned with that sense of pride and sense of empowerment, sometimes there's a disconnect between how we come off into the world, or the things that we feel, or the level of entitlement or the level of enlightenment that we are experiencing, and how others see that, or how others are in their own journey, right? Like even two people together in a relationship are not 100% going through the same journey, right? We're not experiencing the same things at 100% the same, because none of us are 100% together or the same, so on and so forth, right? What you see is not what I see, and vice versa. And so the questions for the journal are: how are you striking a balance between personal, meaning within, and impersonal, meaning outside of you, subjective, within, or objective views and opinions? And so that's a question of how are you standing in your power and still showing up for your community? How are you able to be your self-empowered self and still maneuver the relationships that may require you to tone it down a little bit, or to refrain from certain conversations, or what? Right? It really depends on your situation. So that's the first question. The second question is, how can you strategize a gentle approach to your individualistic, right? Your view within versus the team, versus the people around you, your community, your spouse, your relationships, your family, your coworkers, right? In your life, all of that energy. How can you approach a gentle, how can you strategize a gentle approach? Emphasis on the word gentle, so that you don't come off, as defensive, or so that you don't offend anyone. Leo is definitely also very concerned with the face that we show to the world, but most importantly, that criticism, how we receive it or how we give it. And most importantly, because Leo is a proud lion, Leo needs to learn how to receive that criticism with an open mind and an open heart, right? So that's why the emphasis is on the word gentle. How can you strategize a gentle approach between your individualized views and those of the team, those of the family, those of the coworkers, so on and so forth? And then because these two previous questions tend to bring up a lot, as the full moon also does, because it illuminates, it sheds light on things. The last question is, what are some tricky feelings that appear out of nowhere? Nothing appears out of nowhere. Everything is buried within, except, the full moon may just bring it to the surface, right? That I could express today. And the reason why I ask that is to invite you to express yourself, right? Through the journaling, through the conversation. Sometimes we have these conversations live. You're welcome to request the mic and answer these questions if you're feeling, I definitely want to harbor a safe space to have these conversations with. And other times we just journal, right? So everything I journaled in answer to these questions is right here under what I painted. And, it was interesting because some of the things that came up for me is the reminder that when we are in the journey of self-empowerment, self-improvement, enlightenment, right? We can't really expect people in our families, coworkers, even partners, unless they are going through the same lessons, doing the same homeworks, and having the same exact conversations, right? We can't really expect people in our experience to be 100% there. And so sometimes we communicate things like, oh my gosh, the full moon in Leo brought this and this and this up for me. And what do you think? And people look at us like, you're crazy, or what are you talking about, right? Or we may get so excited to share about astrology, about spirit, about whatever, an experience that we may have gone through. As you all know, a lot of the members in my community and pretty much all of my clients, we are highly sensitive empaths. And so when I'm communicating with a non-highly sensitive person about my experience with energy, with, energy drain, with being able to just feel the room, and this person who is not a highly sensitive empath cannot relate, then why would I get frustrated at how they receive it or not, right? And so those are some of the things that came up for me when I was journaling about this. There's a level of grace that needs to be really present when you're communicating with someone who cannot meet you where you are, because otherwise then there's frustration that shouldn't be there, and resentment. And resentment is a very dense energy. And if you're a highly sensitive person and you're dwelling in the energy of resentment, then that just becomes really sticky, and you just don't want to be in that. If you're trying to elevate, if you're trying to keep growing and manifesting your best life, it's not going to happen if you're stuck in dense energy, right? So those are some of the things that came up for me. And as you know, we also have in the book affirmations for every Monday, which you get to carry along through the rest of the week. But we also have affirmations for the new moon and the full moon. So the affirmations for this full moon yesterday, and you're welcome to carry them along this week, are: I am making sense of my emotions in a gentle and receptive way. I see them as they come and express them without judgment. We've talked so many times about this, and this is why the title of this show is Moon, Magic, and Mindfulness with Grace. It's not because Grace is a nickname for myself, right? Welcome, Anthony, Carrie. Thank you for being here. It's because grace is that last ingredient that we need. And if you're going to see your emotions, or if you're going to meet people where they're at, grace needs to be involved in order for there not to be any judgment and not to be any resentment, like we were just discussing, right? So again, the affirmation for yesterday's full moon was: I am making sense of my emotions in a gentle and receptive way. I see them as they come and express them without judgment. So take a look at what came up yesterday, what still may come up this week, and I'm going to tell you why I'm dragging the full moon to the rest of the week, because of where the moon is moving and what could transpire afterwards. But essentially just be gentle with yourself, be gentle with others. We're all going through the same moon, right? And so it it may be wild for others, and how are you going to meet them where they're at? And of course, that self-empowerment piece of offering the respect and demanding that same level of respect for you and your experience. This is where it gets tricky, but at the same time, extremely rewarding, right? So that was the full moon yesterday. You're welcome to ponder those questions, journal, and if you want to get into the habit of doing it how we do it here in the show, then go ahead and paint over what you journaled, just so that you feel it, so that you feel what it's like to express everything that you want to express and then seal it and know that nobody can read it. It is safe. It is secret. It is sacred, just between you and spirit, just between you and God, however you want to call it. And that's part of what I love about doing things, the way that we do them and expressing things as a group. But let's get into the week. All right. So it's Moon Day, yay! And this week is going to be really interesting because after Leo comes Virgo, right? Every the zodiac has a specific order. So the moon goes from sign to sign every 2 to 3 days. 2100 is going to be the moon in Virgo. So I think that's already happening. But Virgo is all about order. Virgo organizes things. What does that mean to us in the context of this show? As you know, I'm not an astrologer, so if you're looking for all of the Mercury and Uranus and the Saturn things that are happening this week, which are a lot, then again, please turn to the Ghost of a Podcast by Jessica Lanieta or the Channing Nicholas podcast, right? The Astrology for the Week Ahead, both everywhere you can find podcasts. But the moon goes from Leo, which was the weekend, to Virgo starting tonight, and it's going to be in Virgo until Wednesday. And Virgo is very organized. Virgo likes to make sense of things. And of course, the sun is in Aquarius. We know this because it's Aquarian season, right? So Aquarius is also very organized and likes to make sense of things. So what that means to us in the context of this conversation is everything that happened and everything that the moon illuminated this weekend for you, all of that sense of pride about the things that you have accomplished, or a lack thereof pride because you're not very satisfied with the things you have accomplished thus far, right? Whatever the moon brought up for you this weekend, any revelations you may have received, whether you felt comfortable, happy, or not so comfortable and not so happy about them, the moon in Virgo is going to invite you to make sense of all of it, little by little, right? Because you have 3 days to do it. So, well, you have 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, right? So welcome, Sonia and Shannon. We're talking about the moon and it's moving to Virgo. So you're going to make sense of everything that happened this weekend with that moon in Virgo. And then after Virgo, the moon is going to move to Libra. And Libra is also obviously very balanced, right? That's the scale is the symbol for Libra. So now you're going to make sense of things and put an order to it. And when the moon moves into Libra, you're going to figure out, how does this harmonize in my life? Or is this bringing disharmony into my life? And of course, if the things that you found out this weekend, that then you're going to make sense of them little by little, that then you're going to figure out whether they fit in your life or not. The question is, if they don't make sense in your life, if they are bringing disharmony to you, if they bring up something uncomfortable, right? Then what are you going to do about it? And I know that this is tough, right? But that's life. That's adulthood. It's like not easy and sometimes not the most comfortable thing, right, to do. And we tend to, what is your coping mechanism when you're trying to run away from that? This is some of the questions we're going to be discussing at the end of the week. We're going to be talking about escapism and avoidance. And the reason why we're going to talk about that and see how beautiful things align is because things were shed light on, then you're going to make sense of them with the moon in Virgo. Then the moon in Libra is going to invite you to figure out, does this fit? Does this harmonize? How do I bring it into balance? How do I put something else on my agenda because now I'm curious about it, right? Or is this just not fitting in my life right now? And if it's not, how are you going to say no? No. How are you going to say no to it? And I know how difficult that is because I go through it as well, right? We're all going through the same moon. And so that's going to be the moon in Libra, and it's going to stay in Libra until Saturday, and then it's going to move into Scorpio. And Scorpio really brings everything from the previous week and buries it deep into your soul, because Scorpio is the deepest of all of the signs. Think about that Scorpio, that scorpion buried in the sand, right? Scorpio goes very deep. Scorpio season was the deepest season we experienced last year as a community. I have lots of notes about how we compared commentary about how we all went through depression, seasonal depression as well, existential crises, suicide ideation. Last Scorpio season was the deepest I have ever experienced in my industry. And I have to wonder if part of the reason why I experienced it the deepest I had ever had is because I am a highly sensitive empath, and we are talking in community, right? Sometimes with 100 people in the room on Twitter, sharing in that energy, right? Talking about the same things. And so those are some of the notes I have from the previous Scorpio season. So every moon in Scorpio, lots of in-depth things are going to also be highlighted, brought to the surface, just brought to the to the front of your peripheral, right? Like just to your experience, just to see how are you going to maneuver it this time. Are you going to do the same things you've always done, right? Like I feel like that's what spirit wants to do sometimes. It's not necessarily to teach us a lesson, but to see this lesson that you are receiving, or this situation that is arising for you, that is probably not the first time that it's coming up for you. Are you going to do the same thing you've always done? Or are you going to do it differently? I know Anthony has a theme this year of doing things differently. And so I wonder next week when we meet on Moon Day, right? Next Monday, the moon is going to be in Scorpio, and we're going to be able to talk about that, because I wonder what's going to come up for us. And so that's your mooncast for the week. Yay! That's the full mooncast. It's going to go from Leo to Virgo. Organize everything that came up. Thank you so much for that. Organize all of the revelations that you received during the full moon. Remember, the full moon is not for manifestation. In fact, you can confirm with Jessica Leynato's Ghost of a Podcast that this is not a moon to do any type of manifestation because of what's going on with Uranus and Mercury, but just look her up and listen to that. The full moon is about release. And so if you are releasing, then what is that? And one of the things I released, for example, like I was telling you earlier, some of the things that came up for me that we discussed on the live on Friday on Instagram was, how can I show up compassionately and gracefully when I express certain things with other people who are not in my same journey, who cannot relate, who may not know astrology, or who may not be interested in the spirit, or who are just not aware or awake, right? And so if I am communicating all of these things, let me tell you about what I do. Let me tell you about the moon. Let me tell you about my life. And they look at me and blink, like blink, blink. I have no idea what you're talking about. And it goes over their heads. It's like, is it their fault? Not necessarily. They're just not in that journey. They're not in that level, right? I say levels, and I take that I don't take it lightly, because I don't really like to talk about how some people are over here and some people are over here. But at the same time, we're just not all on the same path, right? We're not all on the same level of awareness. And so if I'm going to spend my time sharing this information with people who are not on that path, can I blame them when they answer in a certain way and then I get frustrated because they didn't give me the answer I was hoping for or expecting, which I shouldn't have expected anything at all, right? But Leo likes to expect things. Leo likes to be validated, right? Leo likes to receive that attention, love, validation, right? Think about the lion and all the attention it gets, right? So, Ooh, thank you so much, Anthony. I appreciate that. And of course, you're welcome to come up and say hello. I know Taryn is here, and Taryn has a lot that she's releasing this week. Yeah, Taryn is a Leo. She says, boy, do we. Taryn, you're welcome to come up and share about your Leo experience and this full moon in Leo that we had this Sunday, because it was beautiful. And of course, Darcy is your very first time on my show, and I'm so grateful that you're here. You're also welcome to come up and speak and say hello. And Carrie, welcome to Fireside. I'm going to be following all of you and hope to get to know you soon. So that is the week, and this is what we do here on Fireside on this show. So I am inviting all of you to speak, and you all may say hello or not. All right. And Sonia is here. Welcome. So, and Shannon posted that she was journaling. So I'm wondering how that experience was. But let's go ahead and talk about the week. And of course, I just gave you the Mooncast. Oh, Anthony, welcome. What would you like to share?
Oh, I just wanted to say your show is amazing tonight. I not that it isn't other times, but tonight it's especially amazing.
Thank you.
And I just you're welcome, and I just love what you're doing. So just keep it up. That's all.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you're here, and grateful that now you get to experience the late night shows here on Fireside. It's going to be a fantastic year ahead. I'm certain of it.
Yeah, and I'm fighting to stay awake. Not
I know, and
because
you'll
of your
probably fall
show.
asleep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Not because of your show, just because I'm old. That's all. But I
Oh
just
no.
wanted to say, hey, and keep it up, and you're going in the right direction.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. And of course, you're welcome to get very comfortable when I start the meditation and just drift off into the moonlight, because the meditation hopefully will make you feel nice and sleepy.
Yes, which I very well may do. I just wanted to
Wonderful.
let you know I really do support what you're doing, and just keep it up.
Oh, thank you so much, Anthony. Yes, thank you. I'll see you soon. Hello, Taryn. Welcome.
Hey, my girl, how are you tonight?
I am doing so good. I'm jazzed about this week because I'm very excited to just make sense of everything, little by little, all in due time.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly how I feel too. I've got a lot of things that I feel like are coming up to be clarified. Probably in the next, I'm feeling like 2 to 3 days.
Mhm.
So,
Right. So that's
yes.
what I was just talking about, how the moon is going to shift into Virgo, and Virgo just likes to make sense of everything and order things, put them in order. So, yeah, a lot may fall into place in the next few days.
My favorite thing, I absolutely love when I get to catch you live, because I really get to experience this whole like exactly how I'm feeling. You talk about every single time. It never fails. It's exactly.
Yes.
I'm
Well, I
so
just
grateful.
receive it. It's like the moon knows all of it, and I just receive it and transmit it.
Yes, that's so beautiful. This relationship you have with the moon
Oh,
is
thank you.
just like beneficial for everyone.
Oh, I appreciate
um,
you. So, are you going to do your journaling tonight? I know you said you were going to paint and do all of it.
Yes, so I am. I just actually finished. So I have this kind of like, I know I told you that I'm doing a pretty intense release ritual tonight with my nicotine. And so I'm kind of preparing for that. So I just did the physical aspect and did some yoga. And then I'm going to do the meditation with you. And then while we're talking about everything, while everyone else speaks, I'm going to work a little bit on the journal. And then I'm going to go into, I'm actually really nervous. I'm not ashamed to admit. About this release because it's just been so very long. So I'm I'm really grateful that you and your agenda are going to be a part of it, because it definitely feels like time, and the moon is telling me so through you. So
Well,
that's the
thank you.
plan.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so grateful. And let me just tell you, because you're talking about being nervous. So, how can we just shift that into, transmute that kind of energy into something a little bit more productive? Like, I am excited because I'm obviously ready, or I wouldn't be talking about it.
Yes, so I mean, I'm very comfortable existing in two states at the same time, but the way that I am kind of looking at it is the nervousness and the hesitation and all of that is going to go in the box with my vape, and so when it's in the ground, it's gone too. So, and I'm not ashamed to admit either. I'm going to lean pretty heavily on Jesus
Of course.
over these
Yes.
next few weeks. So, I mean, I'm feeling very confident, and it's fine. It's just, it's a big thing. So there are lots of emotions that are coming up, and I'm actually grateful for all of it. I get to overcome the nervousness and overcome the hesitation. And so, yeah, I am excited about that. So thanks for reminding me and pointing that out.
Yes, of course. Well, thank you for sharing so candidly and, allowing us to watch you blossom into an epic lioness. I'm so excited for you.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, that's the best compliment ever. But thank you so much. And thank you.
You're
Even though,
welcome.
I don't know everyone here listening, like, I really do believe all of our energies are here together. So thank you for your support as well as you're just listening to me. So, so much gratitude, love, and light to everybody. And I'll be listening.
Yes, thank you so much, Taryn. You're so brave and so inspiring to come up and share your journey the way that you just did. Darcy and Anthony and Sonia are cheering you on. Everybody listening is cheering you on for a successful release of whatever it is that is holding you back to just tap into nicotine. And the thing is that you're not the first person to mention this to me today, actually. And it's a question of a reminder of really kind of see the question of the full moon was, what are some tricky feelings like that nervousness that appear out of nowhere that I could express today? And I know very well that you're not shy about expressing movement, dancing, screaming. Maybe you want to roar some of this frustration or fears or nervousness out into the world and just bury it along with everything that you're going to do, because so that you let it out, right? So that it's not within, and play something that is going to be empowering and that will definitely kind of reinforce, right, that intention that you have with this release. And it's just so beautiful to have the intention in the first place, and then again to establish that grace and self-compassion, to understand that it is a journey and that baby steps and every effort counts. That's actually the affirmation for the week. Oh, here we are moving into Monday in the agenda. So every moon day, if you buy the book, it's available on Amazon. Every moon day, you get a chance to answer specific things. Then you have an affirmation here, and then you journal. And then the rest of the week, you get to time block, right? And put all of your meetings and appointments and whatnot. So the affirmation of the week is actually, I am secure in my efforts. And this comes from an understanding, an appreciation, and an acceptance that every effort counts, right? Like in the book club, we learned in the 4 agreements that you agree to do your best 100%. So now that we have agreed to do our best, well, maybe our best today is baby steps. And I'm not talking about you, Taryn. I'm talking about all of us, right? Maybe my best right now is to accept that I need to take my time, that this is a process, that I'm not going to go from 0 to 100, right? And so I am secure in my efforts. How many of us can look at the efforts that we put together every day to have our best life, to create, to raise our children in the best way possible, and say that you are secure in your efforts? if you can, then that's great, right? Kudos to you, pat on the back, celebrate. But if you can't, then take a look at those efforts and how can you make it better? How can you, maximize your time and your energy so that you are doing your best? And then the other affirmation for the rest of the week is, because we are in Aquarius season and Aquarius is all about the community, right? Aquarius is the provider, Aquarius is the giver. I love and accept myself and others and welcome all opportunities for growth, meaning, right? How am I managing that frustration of dealing with other people who are not on the same journey as me? How am I managing communicating with everyone around me, even though they may not be interested in what I have to say? How am I also maneuvering how others are communicating with me? Right? Because I know the moon is in Leo and the moon is all about me, 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 me. But I mean, Leo is all about me, 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 me. But, we need to also be open to what others have to say, obviously, because it's a conversation, right? And so I love and accept myself and others, and I welcome all opportunities for growth. And that's your affirmations for the whole week ahead. And of course, next week you get new affirmations, so on and so forth. And so that's it. And that's a lot. I feel like I have just shared so much. And this is the beautiful thing about the moon is that while the sun is shedding light on a lot, right? Aquarius is all about emotional independence, emotional freedom, emotional expression, among other things. So the sun is shedding light on that because it's Aquarius season, but the moon is shedding light on the emotional states of all of these signs because it moves from sign to sign every 2 to 3 days. And so this is what I like to talk about. And it's a lot, just like, adulting is a lot, and having a great life doesn't come without effort. And one of the biggest epiphanies we shared a few weeks ago was that me living my best life, right? Oh, hashtag my best life, is not the same as you living your best life. They all look different. Maybe you want to be on a yacht, but maybe Taryn wants to be at the top of a mountain surrounded by lions. And maybe I want to be in a beach, and that's my best life, and that's her best life, and that's your best life, right? So on and so forth. And so realizing that all of these things come together with effort and that every single effort matters is part of that journey and some of the epiphanies we have shared along this beautiful journey of moon magic and mindfulness with Grace. So there you go, everybody. That is it. We're going to go ahead and get comfortable and get into meditation. Let's just go ahead and this is your last chance to come up. So Adam, I'm not sure if you want to come up and share, but Adam has a lot going on that I'm very excited to share. But I know Adam and I will chat later on. So of course, and Shannon, don't forget, you're always welcome to come up. Shannon is a moon photographer. Find her on Instagram at Shy Shutter. And she was my guest a few episodes ago, and it was beautiful to speak with her about her moon photography. So make sure that you follow her on Instagram at Shy Shutter. All right, so let's go ahead and begin this meditation. Get comfortable, both feet on the ground if you are sitting up. And if you're laying down, that's even better. So Anthony, this is your chance to get in bed, get comfortable. Music for this meditation is brought to you by Brain FM, music for your brain to do what you want it to do. And you can find a free trial and 20% off your membership in the link in the description or in the link in the fortune cookie. And we're going to go ahead and go under, atmospheric. Okay, yes, that sounds good. So both feet in the ground or lay down on your back, nice and comfortable. And follow my lead on this breath work. Focus your attention on your gentle, slow breathing. And with me, we're going to take a deep breath in through your nose. Nice and slow, not in a hurry, just deep breath in all the way. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out through your mouth. Nice and slow. Slow, long breath out. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe in again through your nose. Deep, deep breath in all the way. Belly breath. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let it go through your mouth. And as you let it go and focus on your normal, nice and slow breath, I want you to imagine that we are all together under the moonlight, big, shiny, beautifully round moon, and in front of a crackling fire, warm, moving and dancing, and very bright. And together, we take in this moment with gratitude and so much love for each other's journey that brought us together in this moment. Joy and love for community, joy and love and acceptance for everything we each of us do, and how we still come together. With me, take a deep breath in through your nose, nice and slow. Fill your lungs all the way. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out through your mouth. Nice and slow, long breath out. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe in again. Through your nose, nice, long, deep breath. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let it out through your mouth. And as you let it out, and we all gaze at that beautiful moon and that warm fire, I want you to remember and repeat or ponder, I am so grateful for this and every opportunity to release and let go of all that does not serve me and that is not for my good or the good of all. I am filled with warmth and light and love, and welcome all the abundant blessings in place of all that I surrender. I am so loved so guided and supported in this moment and every single day. I am secure in my efforts, and I love and accept myself and others, and welcome all opportunities for growth. And as you watch the fire and you look around and see all of us together, feel that love and wonder of that collective embrace. And the love and grace that surrounds you at all times. With me, take one last deep breath in through your nose. Deep, deep, deep. Fill your lungs all the way. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out through your mouth. Nice, long, deep breath all the way. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe in again through your nose. Deep, deep, deep breath in till you have no room. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let it go through your mouth. And as you let it go, bring your awareness to your body, to this moment. Open your eyes and come back to me. Yeah, yeah. And that concludes our meditation and our time together. Everybody, I'm so grateful that you joined. Thank you, Sonia. Anthony is so ready for bed. Thank you, Anthony. That's great feedback. I feel like as a meditation guide, one of the most beautiful feedback I can receive is how you just felt so relaxed and so loved and so great. I hope so. So thank you all again. I'm so grateful that you joined, that you came. Thank you so much, Darcy. I'm so very grateful that you're here, and I hope to see you again next week. And of course, 2 weeks from now, we're going to do this again with the new moon. If you're interested in watching and painting live with me, we're doing that on Instagram. So make sure that you follow the link in the description and follow me all over social media. I do a lot and I'm really all over the place. And I do that so that I can connect with more of you. And it's wonderful. Christine, thank you so much for joining us. Sadly, we've already concluded our discussion and you're welcome to tune into the replay. Monica is here as well. Thank you for joining. Sadly, we're already done, but I definitely welcome to tune into the replay so that you can take a look at the week ahead. And just for the benefit of you who just joined us, let me just tell you really quick. We're going from the moon in Leo to the moon in Virgo. So everything that came up for you in this past weekend, you're going to probably want to make sense of it while the moon is in Virgo, because Virgo invites you to just make sense of things and bring order into the chaos, right? So make sense of everything, every revelation that you received this past weekend in the next 3 days. And then on Thursday, it's going to move from Virgo to Libra. So Libra is going to question everything that you just made sense of. What is in harmony with your life and what doesn't really fit into the picture, and what are you going to do about it? And then it's going to move into Scorpio on Sunday, and Scorpio will probably bring up a lot of, negative feelings, especially if those things that came up for you are not in harmony in your life, because Scorpio is very deep and very dark. And Scorpio is very concerned with the deep depth of your soul. And I know that deep depth is redundant, but that's how deep it goes. And so thank you again for joining us and for being a part of this beautiful conversation. And again, I hope you have a wonderful and productive week ahead. And I'll see you everywhere. So yeah, tune in and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.